It's martini time, that great time of the day when I share my insights with you and have a martini and discover and understand what we haven't understood before. And don't forget, I have my blog here, tokillaminotaur.com, and you can find my talks and what I write during the day there, and hopefully we could have another discussion. So what I wanted to do today, and again, all my insights and inspiration and discoveries come from my everyday mind, which is what happens today in this very rural, small, mundane town called Blackstone, Virginia. It's the center of the world, but then you too are the center of the world, you see. What does that mean? So anyway, the other day, a very nice lady came in and invited me. Now this is backwards. So it says, "You are invited." And I thought, whoa, isn't that great? I'm invited. What am I invited to? And so I looked at the, now here again, I'm going to take this off because it confuses you. You are invited. Now here again, I'm sure some of you will recognize what you're invited to here. However, I don't want to mention that because what I'm interested in looking into here is not who did it, the particular. I want to see the universal. Now that's an important idea because we have lost our understanding of transcendence in religion because we have become focused on the particular, and we have lost the universal. All gods are local. We've lost the access to the universal, which is beyond all local gods. So this is an advertisement. This is a invitation for a local god. It's interesting that I hope I can pull this together. It's interesting because when the Protestant Reformation came down and hit the Holy Roman Church, when you ever do this, you have a little ball of mercury on the table and you hit it. What happens? You've got the one that includes all, and then you hit it, and now you got little balls of mercury all over the place. So when the Protestant Reformation hit the Holy Roman Empire, it splattered churches all over the place. And each church has its own local god. Each church has its own doctrine. Each church has its own belief system, its own symbols. And it will say, well, you don't want to go to that church over there because we have the truth here. So all these local churches then are local gods in that respect, you see. But we've lost contact with the universal that is beyond all local gods, is beyond cultures, is beyond all religions. We've lost contact with the universal because we focus on the particular. So I wanted to look at this picture here and analyze how we focus on the particular. Now, if you look at this, of course, we know it's a religious invitation, but if we look at this, there are no symbols here of transcendence. Now, by symbols of transcendence, I mean stuff like that. That's a symbol of transcendence. You transcend the earth. You transcend this life. You transcend the world. You transcend your pain. You transcend your death. Transcends means to go beyond, to leap over. It doesn't mean to destroy. It means to bypass, to leap over, to a greater beyond. You transcend your present boundaries. Every child does that. They're locked in the backyard and they want to climb the fence. They want to transcend that fence. They want to get to the other side. They want to know what's out there. This is human nature. This is what makes us human. Animals stay in their territory. We want to transcend their territory. So here's an invitation to a territory. And we look at this, and this could be Rotary. This picture could be any business association. And this fella here, you see, he's curious. He's outside. He's missing something. He's in the secular world. He doesn't have any transcendence. He doesn't know how to get out of his life. He doesn't know how to transcend his boundaries. He doesn't know how to transcend his negativity. He doesn't know how to transcend his fear. He doesn't know how to transcend his loneliness. And so you're invited. And he looks over here, and the light's coming in on them, and he's being welcomed, and it's interracial and intergender, and there's children over here. And he's thinking about it. Wow, I'm invited. I'll belong. I'll be somebody. I'll be affirmed. I'll be accepted there, maybe. So he goes in. And everybody hugs him and welcomes him and says, "Oh, we're so glad you're here." And he says, "I feel good. I feel good. I feel accepted now. These are my people. They like me." So he becomes a member. He joins the club. And nothing wrong with this. I'm not saying I'm not trying to pick sores or anything, but I'm just trying to point out and figure out how we lost the transcendence, you see, because what he goes into is not a exit sign to the pains of the world. He is really joining a social institution. And of course, when he gets inside, then there's going to be certain beliefs and doctrines that he has to believe and accept, and he's going to have certain rituals that he has to perform. Tithing. He may have to go out and knock on doors. He may have to do these disciplines, you see. And this keeps activating his sense that if I do this, I will be at home, you see. And this is true. You become at home in a social group, whatever the local God is, whatever the religion is, you join that, and it's you don't have to be born into it like Jews or Hindus. You just have to accept the doctrine, and you usually go through a baptism, which is an initiation of death. You're dying. This guy's going to die. He's going to give up his exile, and he's going to become, through baptism, he's going to become part of the tribe. He'll be part of the chosen people who have a direct relationship with the transcendence, you see. But you never get to the transcendent. You never get to God. It's always in a relationship with God, usually expressed as a moral relationship, where you will do good, you see. But the inside is always doing, I want to do bad, I want to do bad. So you're always in conflict with, I should be good, but I feel bad. I should do good, but I want to do bad, you see. And I feel guilty. And then the tribe says, oh, well, you just need to do more penance, you see. Do more practices. Do more tithing. Give more money. So in other words, the invitation into the tribal God has no exit, you see. Because the tribal God then, the tribal group, the tribal association, the tribal religion, then becomes the mediator, or gives you a relationship to God, you see. But it doesn't give you knowledge of God. It doesn't give you identity with God. No. You can't do that. You can just have relationship with God, because God is totally different from you. God is ontologically different from you. So you can't have a relationship with God. Oh, well, Jesus can. Now, Jesus can have a relationship with God because he's God-man. He's half God and half man. So he's got 1 foot in God and 1 foot in man. So he's the bridge. So then the tribal religion here, and I'm not singling out anyone, I'm talking about all of them. All of them offer a specific relationship with the mediator, Jesus, who will mediate you and kind of like introduce you to God as his best friend. So this is Ed Conley, God. Throw him a few bones. Give him some grace, make his life a little better, And of course, then if my life doesn't get better, well, then the problem is I don't believe in Jesus enough. So, so anyway. But the point I'm trying to make here is that this is a hijacking, and this has been since the Protestant Revolution. It's been a hijacking of the symbols of transcendence. Now, I've been getting into this with, talking about Kuan Yin here and Kuan Yin over here and the Buddha and Jesus, you see. And even now, if I talk about Jesus, you think, well, who does he think he is? Well, what church are you talking about? Well, where did you get that? Did you find that in the Bible? You see, so you can't even talk about Jesus without getting into a problem because Jesus has been hijacked. So this is no longer a symbol of transcendence out of my mind into a direct being with life, you see. And even there, you see, a Western religion has said God is there and life is here, and they're separate. God created the life, and the creator is like a potter, and he creates the pot, you see. Where's my pot? So here, potter. So God created this pot. It's called the world and you, and we're all in it, you see. But he's over here. He's not the pot. The potter isn't the pot, you see. So that's the way we look at religion and the world and everything. It's the world. It's the world idea that frames our reality in the same way that this is a bent cup. Now this bent cup frames the inside of the water. The water inside is bent. But if you're inside the water, if you're inside the cup, you can't see the cup. So if you're inside a world idea that is a particularly unique Western Judeo-Christian idea of the world, you see, if you're inside that, you can't see the way it's bent or shaped. And not to say bend is wrong, it's the shape, you see. Now the shape of the world, the Judeo-Christian world, is that God is separate from the world. Only Jesus could say the Father and I are one, and he got crucified for it. So you don't dare. If you say Jesus and I are one, they're going to put you away. Or if you say anything that is not authorized by Scripture or the church, well, who do you think you are? How dare you speak from your heart, you see? You have to follow the music. You have to follow you have to read the program, you see. So there's no transcendence out of that. Transcendence means freedom. Transcendence means liberation. From what? Well, we all go to a therapist when we need liberation from our neurosis. Now, this whole system is neurotic. The whole Judeo-Christian system is, I'll say neurotic, but not so much in a negative term, but just in the fact that it's got a bend in it. And the bend in it is that this is a religion for exiles. Everybody is this, you see. We're all in exile. I mean, this goes back to the Garden of Eden. God kicked you out of the exile because you thought for yourself. You see, you didn't follow the script. You didn't obey Daddy. You didn't obey the boss. So, out, you see. So he's out. And of course, we all want to be in. We don't like being out in the cold. We don't like being isolated. We don't like being in exile. So here you have a nice, warm, light-filled group. They're all happy. It's like an advertisement. I don't feel so good, but I look at the ad and they're drinking that Kool-Aid. Oh, they look so happy. I think I would like to have that. You see. And so, anyway, this, so let's see, what else can I say here? Anyway, so this whole idea, the lost transcendence, this is why I read Joseph Campbell. I read Joseph Campbell because he sees the universal or the transcendent in all of the local religions. Not just the local religions of Protestantism, which there's a lot of them. I mean, right here in Blackstone, you got your mainstream religions. You got your Baptist, your Presbyterian, your Methodist, and your Baptist, Presbyterian, Methodist, Baptist, Presbyterian, Methodist, and Catholic. Okay. So you got your three main religions, and then on the outskirts of town, you got your Pentecostal religions. And then you go out in the country, you got more. And all the little towns in Virginia like that. You got your old style, your old school religions in town, big old churches, look like a fort. And then you got your modern, kind of like big stage churches, maybe outside of town. And they play loud music there like the roadhouses used to do. There used to be a roadhouse outside of town where they played loud music and people would go because they wouldn't disturb anybody in town. You see, so anyway, but the point is, so there's just, and each one of these churches, you see, is a local mediator to God. But it's a social organization. Now, I'm saying there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying there's limitations to it. And the limitations is that you have, now, this is what's happened. Now, if you're going to become a member of a local God, you have to believe in the local God, the doctrines, Calvinism, Presbyterianism, Methodism, Baptism, Pentecostal, all of these have different doctrines. If you want to be a preacher, you got to go to a different seminary there because you got to learn their doctrine, you see. So the doctrine is God, the code. You have the Nicene Code, you have to believe in the code, you see. So there's nothing transcendent about that. It's like you have to read the mission statement of your club. You read the mission statement. You recite the mission statement, So these are closed tribes, closed systems. There's no exit. Because you have to surrender something in order to get salvation through a tribe. You have to give up something in order to get salvation through a local God. You have to give up the universal God. You have to give up the one that is the many. Because now you are part of the many, and your many becomes the one. So every local tribe God is the one. That's why they're at war with the other ones. You're trying to tell me I don't know what God, So the point is, where you have to give up. You have to give up your reason. Belief. You have to split the psyche into belief. I believe in this, and reason has to be left at the door like shoes. Because if you bring reason into the limited belief system, you're going to find cracks in it. You're going to find things that don't add up. You're going to find misconceptions. You're going to find limitations. You're going to find holes in it. Because, see, reason wants to see the whole. Reason wants to connect the dots and go, oh, I see. Reason wants the truth, and the truth is whole. But if you have a local God, the truth is partial, because all the other local gods are saying, I got the whole truth. No, you got it, I got it, you got it, So what's the whole truth? What's the whole truth that includes all the local gods? What's the universal God that includes all the local gods, you see? Well, you can't find that in the local God, because the local God wants to wipe out all the other ones, just like Yahweh wanted to wipe out all of the people that worship the goddess. Wipe them out, clean them up. See? So anyway, thank you for dropping in. Yeah, I appreciate your hanging in with me as we explore the unexplorable. Okay.